What's it like to quit your cushy job to start your own venture? Hello and welcome to the Fervent Four. Did you know that only 4% of businesses ever cross the annual $1 million revenue mark? Hello, I'm Zack Miller, author of Anomaly. With me today, my co-host Tim Ryan, lead man at StartWheel.org. Thank you so much for joining us. The Fervent Four is a weekly show every Thursday at 11 a.m. dedicated to sharing insights into growing a world-class business. Well, that question I just asked is exactly what the man that we are about to talk to did. What, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that? 7 years ago, you decided to leave your cushy job and to embark into something that you had never done before. Yes? Am I telling the story right?
Five years ago.
5 years. Okay, so 5 years ago. But before we get into that, I think there's something that's really important that we should discuss. Are you ready for this? You have no idea what I'm about to ask you. Now you're a little nervous?
Come with it. Let's go.
Kenny doesn't get nervous.
Let's go.
So you were a pretty good basketball player growing up. What? Yes. Are you going to be modest about it? You played collegiately.
I played. Yes.
Yeah. You've been a coach. What has basketball taught you about the kind of business world?
First thing comes to mind is discipline. We had a saying in basketball: if you don't practice, you don't get to play. And the same principles applies to business as well. If you don't apply yourself, you of course don't get to eat. So,
well, someone locally would tell you practice.
Yeah, that's correct. Practice, correct.
The great Allen Iverson line. I love that.
Yep,
so,
yep.
I mean, where do you think in that case, like that he was talking about practice versus that? Because what you're preaching right now is that the way that you practice, the way that you do everything is how you do everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or how you do everything is how you do anything. There's a line there somewhere. I think Tim said it before. But like, why does that matter? The discipline, the practice of it. Why do you think that matters in everything that you've done?
Well, because it takes a great stamina to, from the late nights to the early mornings to the grit and the grind to just to have a business nowadays. It's not what we all see on the internet. It's not something that we proclaim. We can just have a business license in, or in my case, just have a bucket of water and soap and say, okay, I got a business. It takes a great deal of effort, a great deal of practicing. I went from, basic washing the car to now we're, taking off brake calipers and taking off wheels to improve the cosmetics of a vehicle. So, if I didn't learn or if I didn't take time to practice, then none of that would be possible. So it takes a great deal of practice, and a great deal of learning and watching on YouTube or, talking to peers or what have you, just to get to this point.
How do you feel you are now in terms of where you started, where you are today, compared to where you want to be in the next 5 years? Or do you think that you're 75% there? You're 90% there?
I think I will say about 80% there. The 20% gonna have to come after this pandemic, we should say. But I'm about 80% there. In a million years, I didn't think I would even get this far due to, of course, the dynamics and where I am, and as far as location, and as far as, some of the things that I had to experience over my time being at this current location. But, I'm excited to see what the future is ahead.
It's interesting you talked about how the business world that's kind of depicted online is just all glitz and glamour. It's great, and it's not a lot of work, and yada, 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 things like that. It's interesting that like people don't talk a lot about that. It's like Hollywoodized, if that's a word. It's not a word, but I just made it up. But like, it's like start a business, you're gonna be great. Start a business, you're gonna be rich. Start a business, you're gonna have billions of people loving you and just saying that you're, it's phenomenal and yada yada yada. Did you go into it thinking that it was gonna be like that? No.
Not at all. Actually, man, I just tapped into what I call my God-given talent. I always washed cars. I always was doing something with a car with what I call with little to no effort. It started off as me being young. My Sunday ritual was to my Saturday ritual was to wash my grandmother's car. And by doing that, I kind of kept that same ritual as I grew older and had my own cars of my own. And, I was doing it every Saturday. I wasn't going to church every Sunday as I should have, but I still like to keep my car clean throughout the weekend, if you will.
I've been directly involved within our entrepreneurial community for years. And the most common question I get is, Tim, I want to get involved, but I don't know what events I should attend. Well, StartWheel eliminates that pain point because we consolidate all the events you should attend into a single calendar. Now you'll be in the know and see where to spend your time. Gone is the need to search multiple websites and calendars. Just head to startwheel.org and see for yourself. That's startwheel.org.